welcome to Evolve. My name is Elena Tall. I'm on the team here at Revolution Youth. Today we're going to be looking at Procreate specifically for the iPad. Now this is a pretty niche topic, but it is an amazing platform to create logos, stickers, sketch up photos, and really do a lot more with this. It is a great platform for Instagram, TikTok, anything you'd like to use it for. So we are going to jump in on a tutorial and kind of go over some projects with that today. So welcome to this little Procreate tutorial. We're going to be looking at Procreate specifically for the iPad. So this platform or program is it's similar to what you'd find on Adobe software, where you have layers, you can import photos, edit those photos, crop, draw on top of those. So there's a lot of really great opportunities with this. You can also just start from a blank slate and use the countless brushes, colors, fonts, and even import your own fonts into this program to really customize it the way that you want and what you need for a project. So Procreate is an app specifically for the iPad. There is a Procreate Pocket version for your iPhone, but I find it best and easiest to work on a big platform with a stylus or Apple Pencil and really use those brushes to the fullest. My favorite features are really the amount of brushes, the amount of opportunities you can use with those. Under each brush, you can customize it or completely make your own brush and add it to your favorites. As I've kind of created a style, I found that I really love chalk, chalk being the specific brush, and really kind of making that very opaque. It almost looks like a pencil. It's not fully opaque, but I really love using that to outline photos, outline people in photos. I think it creates a really great kind of sketch look, especially when you take that photo off. This app is a one-time purchase, currently $10 on the App Store. Once you have that on the device, it is on there, ready to use whenever you would like to create work. So highly recommend Procreate. It's an amazing design tool, especially if you already have an iPad and you're looking to really get started with design. You don't have to go out and buy an Adobe subscription necessarily. You can, for $10, get this, play around, do tons of great things. Play with logos, you can add in your pictures that you already have, and really just design on top of those. So you can really use this app for a lot of different avenues. You can create it for logo design for your clients, typography. It really has endless opportunities, even if you're looking just to create stationery or stickers. A lot of right now, the stickers that are being made and sold on platforms are made with Procreate. There's really tons of different avenues that you can go with this. So we're gonna dive into a tutorial here, creating a simple logo type art with a background, a little bit of some brush work and some line work, and let's get started. So we're gonna open up Procreate, and on that you'll see we have different stacks. We're going to click that plus button and open up a new stack, but first this is what we're going to be creating. Simple logo with a compass type feature or an spyglass. So we're going to go create a square canvas that's already been created for us. That'll open up into a blank document. We have some colors that we're going to choose from. Here I'm going to stick with the Everywhere Youth palette and choose the blue. Once I drag and drop that onto the board, we're going to add a new layer. Each new feature that we add on will have a new layer. So we're going through our brushes here. There's tons of different options. We're mostly going to stick with the monoline under calligraphy just to create a smooth brush, smooth line at full opacity. I'm going to go choose the solid white under S&B palette. Once I click that, that is my chosen color. I'm going to change my brush size up to about 30%, and that is as big as we will go for the brush size for this tutorial. So I'll start to draw a circle. When I draw that, I will hold down with one finger, and that will snap into place as a solid circle. You can click that little cursor button up at the top, make sure your magnetics are on, and adjust that to the center. That line should adjust to you, and you'll be able to snap it where you'd want it. So once that is snapped, we're gonna go up and add a new layer. And well, we're duplicating that layer, and then we're going to shorten that a bit, narrow that a bit, create a circle inside the one we've just created. So essentially we're creating that inner and outer circle. That's a compass, and we will be taking off a bit of that outer circle again to just have our inner circle be what we're working with. So again, I'll click the eraser, make sure I'm on the correct layer, and I'm going to go through and just erase a diagonal section on that outer circle. You can see that I am going through, making those edges look straight, and then we'll go and do the bottom one, making sure that they're relatively the same size. Doesn't have to be perfect, as this is still a sketch type of design. Not looking for perfect here. So we'll go back and select or grab a new layer, and what we're going to begin to do is create that middle design with the hills. We're going to put the brush at 15% now, half of what we had before. And we're going to start with still being on the monoline brush, still on the solid white. We're going to make sure that streamline is all the way up, so that is a nice smooth line. Now you're going to draw hills on the bottom. I chose to do one big one in the middle, and as you'll see, you can click the undo on the left and really go back and make it as perfect as a hill as you would like. I chose 3 just to keep the odd number there, because it's normally better to have either 3 or 5. Kind of looks better to the eye. So you'll see I kind of do 2 little mountain hills there, go off and do another hill to your left and another hill to the right. And I'm kind of adjusting the canvas as I see fit. It's easier for me as a right-handed person to often tilt it and draw versus drawing it straight on. Once those lines are set, I can always grab the eraser and erase if I need to go back. Here I am selecting it with that top cursor and actually taking that little green circle and rotating this slightly, just so that the ends are level and horizontal. Next, you'll see you'll grab the eraser and just touch that up a bit, and it's on a separate layer than that circle, so we don't have to worry about erasing the circle when we do that. So we'll create a new layer with the plus, make sure I'm on brush again. I'm going to bring it down even smaller to about 5%. Now we'll start just doing those lines within each mountain section. These don't have to be perfect, but generally evenly spaced. Some of them I will be tighter, create tighter lines at one end to kind of make a leading line towards the center. Again, here, making about 3 to 4 lines in that middle section. So now we have our 3 hills, some leading lines, and we'll go in and make a new layer. Still on the monoline brush, still on white. So now we'll zoom in and we're gonna start creating trees. So once you make that line, if you hold your pen down, it'll make it nice and straight. Go through after and add in the branches. I went in and duplicated this layer, so I didn't have to go in and create that tree again. So instead of going through on a new layer with the brush and creating a new one, I can go back, duplicate that layer, and move that where I would like. You can also see that you can adjust it, flip it horizontally, vertically, and adjust it to where you need. So I'll scale it back down, kind of make trees with different sizes just to change it up, make sure it's dynamic and that they all don't look the same, because in real life they all don't look the same. So gonna go through, make a new layer. This time I'll draw, still with my monoline brush, back on that far left hill. So each of the hills has a tree. And again, I'm sticking with 3 trees. Odd numbers normally look better when it comes to art and design. So I'm gonna stick with either 3 or 5 trees. Here I chose 3, each one for the hill. So we're gonna wanna add a sun next. So again, keeping each thing on a new layer, gonna create a new layer, Make sure I'm still on that monoline. And here I'm drawing a circle, holding it down with another finger, so I'm creating an ellipse. I'll go through and click Edit Shape sometimes and make sure that that is snapped to where I want it, and that is a full circle. We're going to be actually erasing part of this circle, so we won't need the whole thing. Again, I'm making sure I'm on that layer, bringing the brush size up, clicking eraser, moving the brush size up and erasing that half, just so that it looks like we have a sun peeping out from the right corner. So I'll go in and create another layer. And I'm going to want to start to add 3 little birds, simple lines, but they create the illusion of birds flying. So they're going to be really elongated M's is what you're going to be wanting to do. So here I clicked the undo button, didn't like what I did, so I can always go back and redo it. You can do the undo button as many times as you need, and I'll go in and recreate those. Ideally, something that is bigger to smaller size to create that look of depth. And again, either sticking with 3 or 5 tends to be best. So I'm gonna make a new layer, move my next layer down to be the first layer above my background. I'm gonna move that brush size back up again to 30%. We're just gonna be creating that top triangle. And again, just making a V shape. And because we moved that layer to be the first one, it is now behind our outer half circles. And now I'm going to go and highlight all of these. Click that little cursor up on the top so I'm moving everything together, and I'm going to center that again now that I've added my top arrow. Once I have that in place, I am going to start adding color. So I'm going to want to add a layer, move that layer down on top, down on top of just layer number 1 on top of the background. And we're going to be doing a green, a pink, and a subtle yellow for the hills. I want my brush opacity at about 1/3, so keep it about 35%, and the brush size as big as you need to fill in the space. So here I'm just going to start filling in with the blotchy brush and kind of going along the outside first normally so I get my parameters, and I'll fill it in. If you have a solid concrete shape, you can still drag the top color picker down and fill that, but since I want the specific brush texture and not a solid fill, I'm just going to go in with the brush and color that in. Once I have that color set, I'm going to go in and grab a orange color, again putting that on a new layer just above my last one. I'll pick the leftmost hill, and again I'll kind of outline that first normally, and then I will fill in as we go. And if it gets too far to the outside, you can always grab the eraser tool and erase that. Because this tool is looking kind of like a watercolor brush, I'm not too careful to stay within the lines, but because this is a pretty clean drawing, I am trying to stay within lines, but it's okay if it gets outside of the lines. You can always fix that. So we'll be grabbing our third color as a green. Not too strong of a green, but again, grabbing that palette and lightening that a bit. So we still have our brush selected. Now we're in that new color. I'm gonna go make my brush size a little bit bigger as that's a bigger space. And I'm just gonna go in, do the outline of that brush, or outline of that section that we're gonna wanna fill in. And then you can always increase the brush size and just color that in. I really like this brush because it creates a really great watercolor pattern. If you don't lift up your pen, it will do all one color in that shade. So now for the sun, we're gonna want to make a little bit of we're gonna make a new layer, layer 14, pick a brighter yellow for the sun than we did for the hill. It's important that this color is different from the other ones. So you're gonna fill that in again with that brush, making sure the sun is one full yellow. And once you have that, I'm gonna go in Back to the monoline brush, you can add in more trees if you'd like. I'll add in some little lines for the sun. You can always go back in and add compass lines around the outside. You can add more arrows, so east, west, or south. Here we just have the north arrow. You can kind of customize it to towards your liking. I prefer something pretty simple. As you can see, I went back and undo those last couple strokes. Put 3 on the sun just for a little bit of effect. And that's pretty much it. You can always go and add type or merge those layers all together if you want to keep that and export that. So go up to add, and under add, click add text. And there's tons of different text options there for you to add as well. Here we're just going to leave it this drawing. You can go back to your gallery, swipe, click share, and then you'll have different options there. Different file formats to share. I hope this has given you an insight into Procreate, insight into what this platform can do. It's really one of my favorite things at the moment right now to just open this up, start designing, and really look forward to seeing your work. Thank you for joining me on this Procreate tutorial. So happy to have you here. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something about design, or at least got some inspiration. You can follow me at Elena Tall on Instagram, TikTok, any of those platforms. We encourage you to join the design circle at Mighty Networks. It's evolve-network.com. Would love to see your designs and look forward to seeing you.